Hello everyone, and welcome back once again to Alan Wake 2. The Lake House expansion has arrived, and I am super excited for two reasons. First of all, because the Lake House refers to an FBC location in the Cauldron Lake area, which we never got to see but was only referred to in-game as a total loss. I've long wanted to see what a total loss looks like to the FBC. And also because the trailer dropped a few days ago, and it looks like it's taking a hard pivot in the direction of horror, which is really interesting because Alan Wake 2 was itself a much more horror-focused game than Control or Alan Wake 1 before it. And given the nature of this facility, it seems like this is going to be bridging the gap between Alan Wake and future Control properties, so this is just a huge nerd out for me in a lot of ways. I've also just finished Final Draft only a couple weeks ago and got to see all the new goodies and lore drops that came with that, so I am more into this than ever, and my mind is fresh. Let's descend into a Federal Bureau of Control research facility and unravel the mysteries lurking within.
This isn't the Bureau's first time in Bright Falls. 1970, 76, 8... Last one was in 2010. It's not exactly clockwork, but this town sees way more altered world events than most. We knew it was just a matter of time before the lake acted up again. After the AWE in 2010, the FBC's research department set up a facility, the Lake House, to study the threshold in Cauldron Lake, find better ways to contain the entity inside. Your tax dollars at work. When we detected a spike in paranatural activity at Cauldron Lake, before I even knew you were on this case, Saga, the Lake House was my first stop. I was short-handed, hoped they could spare some help, maybe give us some intel on the situation. If I had any clue what was waiting for us in there, Saga, I'd have just kept on driving. This is Agent Kieran Estevez responding to an AWE alert in the vicinity. I need to speak with the Marmonts. So much for the welcome wagon. You all set up the perimeter. We're on the Threshold's doorstep, so keep your eyes peeled.
Yes, ma'am.
Return Addendum, the Lake House. All part of the story. Now, actually playing as an FBC agent is really cool because now that I've played Control, it's really crazy to note the difference in how Alan Wake 2 feels and plays when you know about that stuff versus when you don't. Of course, the first time I did it, I had no idea about any of this stuff, and so the shady conspiracy stuff was all kept in the dark for me. And things seem a lot brighter, but also a lot deeper when you go in with that knowledge. Just like she is compared to Saga. And I like how her entrance here actually mirrors Saga's entrance at the beginning of the main game. And that upside-down view, it's like a reflection on a lake.
This shouldn't take long, okay? You see anything, radio me.
Roger that.
Unfortunately, given the genre, I don't feel great about your guys' chances. You're better off just waiting out here, but even that might not help you. Actually, wait! Wait, is this the locked gate that's just off to the side of where Nightingale's sacrifice site was? I had spent so long trying to figure out how to open this thing. That is so cool. Was this planned that far in advance? I mean, only a year out it must have been, right? And as ever, the atmospherics in this game are beautiful. Thankfully, we do have a flashlight.
The lake house was run by the research department. Research and investigations don't really see eye to eye. What they call science, I call a violation of Bureau protocol and human decency. Classic interdepartmental drama, your FBI saga, you know how it goes. Now, in retrospect, my low opinion of the research department may have clouded my judgment.
Well, without Dr. Darling, I imagine they're under new management, right? Power lines are still up, but no outside communications with this facility. I believe the Marmonts were mentioned in documents in the base game, but we never actually met them. There we are. The facility established as a direct response to the events of the first game. Nothing to see out here. Is the power out inside the facility? I'm not seeing a light on the camera or inside. Darkness is not a good thing here, and our character would know that. Well, I guess it's still on.
Hello? Agent Kieran Estevez, Investigations Department.
It is so weird to see this familiar architecture and imagery, even the designs of the equipment, in this game. It's like worlds colliding. But then again, this franchise is no stranger to a collision of worlds.
No one wants to check the individual carrying a firearm into a restricted government facility? No? Okay, well, it's definitely going in the report.
I don't know, Kieran. This isn't more concern to you that no one's coming to check? Urgent reminder, lake safety protocols. Please remember that the following recreational activities are forbidden in the waters of Cauldron Lake. These restrictions apply to both civilians and FBC employees. Fishing, redacted, swimming, boating applies to canoes, kayaks, and motorized boats. Using the water for redacted purposes. Water skiing, redacted in the water, paddleboarding. These activities can result in redacted in an estimated redacted % of cases. If you are unclear about any of the restrictions listed above, please speak with redacted. Well, no wonder you're having problems. Nobody knows what not to do. Probably best just not to touch it. Security report, local rumors. A recent security operation was performed among the citizens of Bright Falls and Watery. The goal of this operation was to ascertain public knowledge and opinion of the lake house and its operations. The following information was gained through covert listening and informal questioning. The local public appear to view the area around the lake house with fear. This is, of course, the intended reaction, as the Bureau has publicly marked the area as dangerous due to volcanic gases. However, there is a specific rumor among the public regarding a government facility in the woods, run by mad scientists taking people for experimentation. This rumor seems particularly popular among the local youth, and its proximity to the truth is cause for concern. Worst case, Worst case outcome would be an increase in curiosity, or possibly even aggression. It's possible that this is even the reason for the lake house's security breach back in... So you had a security breach at one point, possibly related to Ilmo and the Cult of the Tree? Security personnel will continue to monitor youth chatter. If the rumors continue, disseminating a cover story may be required, perhaps even fabricated signage for an American Volcano Commission type institution. Dr. Marmont here to remind you to put in 100% effort today. Look, listen, think. A safe workplace is everyone's responsibility. Wow, we really do love our coffee here at the FBC, huh? Somebody didn't finish their donuts. Something is definitely wrong here. Oh, they've got a kitty, too. God, look at these thick concrete walls. This place is built like a bunker. Some screens flickering over there. I'll check those out next. From Ava Romani to FBC personnel, July 14th, 2023. Status update regarding oldest house. To all staff. On-site observation teams report that the oldest house is still under active lockdown. Status of Director Trench, management team, and all other personnel inside the oldest house at the time of the lockdown's initialization remains unknown. Observation teams have detected fluctuations in the redacted field originating from the oldest house as of redacted, increasing in strength as it loops through a specific pattern every redacted hours. These readings are currently being analyzed by research staff in the Boston office. Any personnel with information pertaining to this signal should contact them immediately. Wait, so would that... They're talking about Director Trench. Would that set control in 2023, only a few months before this incident? Because the AWE expansion in Control said that they were receiving these readings from Cauldron Lake years from the future.
That's handy.
Handy indeed.
An experiment. That bodes well.
Did you guys cause something? Or was it just bad timing that you tried to do something while all of this was occurring? I mean, it was Nightingale rising out of the lake and his failed sacrifice that seemingly caused all this.
Hello, and welcome to another exciting day here at the Lake House. As I'm sure you know, I am Dr. Jules Marmont, and this is my wife,
Dr. Diana Marmont.
and together we are the heads of research at this facility. We want to thank you all for helping us break new ground in our study of Cauldron Lake.
That's right, Jules. But don't let our exciting work in threshold regulation and dimensional coupling keep you from observing the proper safety protocols.
You said it, Diana. We run a tight ship here at the Lake House. So, always remember the 3 S's. Safety, security, and censorship.
It's a C. It's a C.
What? Yeah, that is the joke, Diana.
Well, it's a stupid fuck.
Wonderful joke, Jules. We'll see you down there.
Yeah, that seems healthy.
There's that familiar sound. God, I feel like Control is a game I played years ago. It was only back in like March and April. I'm normally not a fan of universes in media, but, well, Remedy makes it work.
Dr. Marmont's not here. Nobody is? I'll have to check downstairs.
Beautiful view. To my fellow head of the lake house, love Diana. Things seemed strained in that video, but maybe they really were a loving team. I just got startled by my own reflection. To be fair, I have been trained to be afraid of dark shadows.
They must all be working on the lower levels.
Barrows University. And notice of appointment from Dr. Casper Darling. He's a Darling appointee, effective upon the facility's completion on July 18th. So as soon as it was built, they've been here a while. April 18th, 2020, Subject P. Through extensive testing, the subject has been confirmed to possess an intrinsic paranatural ability that manifests exclusively during the act of painting. The paintings feature scenes or events he would have no knowledge of, even sometimes painting an event before it occurs. This effect has been proven multiple times, and has an estimated 40 to 100% success rate. Note the lack of precision in this range is due to the team's inability to prove that a painting's content will not be realized at some point in the eventual future. Yeah, that's a pretty big control value. Researchers asked to reiterate their hesitance to publish any concrete statements surrounding the subject and his ability at this time, as the natures of the paintings and their paranatural effect have been exceptionally difficult to measure and quantify. We know that the lake utilizes creative energy, so is it possible that they predict what's going to happen, or they cause things to happen? The subject is suspected to be a Class 2 parautilitarian, though additional testing will be required to confirm this. At this time, his ability is not believed to be a direct threat to himself or others, and can be controlled. The nature of his ability is to show current or future events via the art he creates, but the extent of this forecasting cannot be determined by researchers with any high level of precision. Unlike the art created by Alan Wake, there is no evidence the subject's art is directly manipulating reality via the shadow's energies. Okay, but how can you tell? Replacement keycard request form, please fill out blah blah blah, Jules Marmont. Required clearance, the highest one. I forget what it's called. My old card went missing. Indicate here if your card was stolen. How would I know if it's stolen or lost? Why do you not put microchips inside to file them if you're so concerned with this? I am the head of research, and I expect a new card on my desk by the end of the workday. There's some absent-mindedness here. September 14th, 2023. Science fact of the day. Though most famous for acting, Hedy Lamarr also invented in her free time. She patented a frequency-hopping device for torpedo guidance systems at the age of 38. That is a fun fact.
Changing passwords, huh?
Security and Technical Support Division, update to computer password reset policy. Effective September 13th, all computer passwords must be reset daily to address security concerns. We're aware this may be an inconvenient change and lead to difficulty remembering your password. We recommend using a permanent set of digits as the beginning of the password, followed by numbers that change daily. Try using significant personal dates, coordinates, etc. Do not use birthdays, the current date, phone numbers, etc. Please also remember that for the time being, passwords are not to exceed 6 digits. Thank you for your compliance. You may have also just not complied, but okay, it's a logic puzzle to figure out the password. July 18th is when you came in, so that could be 7/18. 7/18/9/14? Let's try it. 7/18/9/14? No. I can't figure this out, so I'm gonna try looking around some more. Lake House Daily. Good news. HQ still dark. Pie was good. More pie for the rest of us. We have coffee. Deerfest this week. Oh, although you did write that in red, does that mean extra good? Bad news. HQ still dark. No beer. It's good. Tried it. Nut allergy bad? The artist is illegible. Someone stole the black whiteboard marker. All vacation time canceled. Well, that explains the red text, I guess. Anyway, to get this projector going... Rhamnus daily stand-up, no doodling. Self-defense courses, the dangers of doodling, and boating safety regulations. I mean, other than the nature of the work they do, I guess it's just like any other workplace.
It's locked.
Of course it is. Can't help but notice that your age is highlighted, 38. Hang on. Okay, wait, what if we try this? The lake house opened in 2010. So, 2010. 38? No. 07. 18. 38? There we go! Okay, that took some doing, but we got there in the end. Gov security. Security you can trust. That's right. But before we open the door, let's check the mail. Got so much reading. And in this, we have to go all the way back to read them in order. Good morning. A friendly reminder that proposed annual budgets need to be sent out by the end of this month. Every station is being asked to give a thorough breakdown this year in an effort to find areas where spending can be reduced. Should I book a time for us to speak about this and make a plan? I'm too busy to attend meetings. Just use the budget from last year, but make sure to specify that a specific percentage of the research budget is to go towards Project Arbitus so certain individuals won't be tempted to slow down their competition by stealing resources. Very professional. I apologize for the difficulty my wife is presenting, Harry. I believe she's suggesting that I would take her project's budget. An unfair and preposterous accusation, though I am confident you understand that. I would be happy to meet and discuss the annual budget. It is, of course, the head of research's job to oversee such work. Maybe Diana is no longer up to the task? Sincerely, Jules Marmont. Okay, there's a lot of fairly vicious professional rivalry going on here. And then some. Redacted. So, does next Wednesday work? Dr. Marmont, Project Arbitus has officially requested we return the pages. We aren't using them for any work on Project Rhamnus, and they're shared research material. So, can I release them back to Arbitus? Sincerely, Dr. Perry Levine, Senior Researcher. Security reminder. Hello. Please remember to lock your computer before leaving your station for any amount of time. Changing your password daily does not improve our facility's security if you leave your computer open. Well, seems he actually took that advice. What have we just done? Oh, we have a choice. I guess we'll go into sending order then.
Access denied.
I guess not.
Well, you are not keeping me out. I'll need a key card with clearance.
Yeah. Well, maybe that also unlocked the room back here? There we are. Oh, baby.
This should get me downstairs.
Only one shoe. Curious. But I guess we haven't started looting for resources yet. I do wonder how much combat will actually factor into this, but presumably we have a service weapon in there somewhere. Although not the service weapon. We can access these 3. The other 2 are in a category of their own.
As soon as I got in that elevator, my bad news detector started going nuts. Estevez to team. Something's going on in the lake house. I want all nearby agents to... Oh, shit!
What's going on?
Well, we're not dead, but I don't think we're moving anymore.
Agent Estevez, what's your status?
Breach detected on Sublevel 5. Staff should seek shelter immediately.
We have a situation in the lake house. All agents converge on the facility now. Belay that order. Shit. A threshold event had hit the lake house. Now, it was the Marmonts' problem. Our mission was outside.
I don't know, it looks like our problem to me. I have to assume this is related to our contained or not so contained artist. This whole place has become their canvas. The question is it someone new or someone we know? Totally pitch black without our light.
What the fuck was that? I need to get back to the elevator. Where's the fucking elevator?
Good point! What is...
Okay. Priority 1, get the lights on. Standing around in the dark near Cauldron Lake, is not smart?
I love how you're aware of the dual danger here. But I can still hear something moving around in the dark. Research order. As the lake house continues to make progress toward its goal, various avenues of research are being pursued. Recently, one such avenue has yielded unexpected results. The research into nursery rhymes, directed by the Marmonts and Dr. Campbell, as an art form has shown viability in its ability to connect with the Cauldron Lake threshold. As a result, the nursery rhyme findings will now be carried forward by the co-heads of research and incorporated into ongoing research across the lake house, effective immediately. Research teams will be briefed on how to utilize the effective elements of the nursery rhymes into their own work. Dr. Campbell and his team are being reassigned. They will continue to develop their work on nursery rhymes outside the lake house. Any exposure risks related to performing confidential work outside the facility's premises have been acknowledged and accepted by the co-heads of research. Some of you may die, but that is a risk they're willing to take. Threshold linking experiment. The work to create a stable link between our reality and that of Redacted continues. Progress is good, with all teams reporting high confidence that a successful connection will soon be possible. Recent efforts in utilizing the paintings produced by Subject P to adjust reality in such a way that achieves our goals were unsuccessful. However, the result allowed us to discard that avenue of research and focus solely on a much more viable one. Our new hypothesis states that the threshold's energies, and thus its reality-altering effect, are drawn to pieces of art that contain significant level of emotion. This is supported by a clear trend in the data we have gathered over the years. If we can identify and quantify the emotion of an art piece, our work will speed up considerably. Work is already proceeded with an immediate focus on developing devices capable of measuring the level of emotion in any given piece of art. For now, our research will continue to focus solely on the art produced by Subject P. While no pieces of his have yielded successful results outside of their assistance in discovering the redacted pages, his proven status as a parautilitarian makes his work the most suitable research material. Pages, as in Alan's manuscript pages? And leave it to the research department to try and quantify emotion. But what else do you do in a situation like this? Oh hey, it's one of those useless shelters. Containing one of those all too familiar thermoses. Still serving the same function, I see. Okay, we got a flare. And more of this. It seems like we're still using the same flashlight mechanic. I wonder if we are going to be fighting Taken, because it looks like we have bars to focus the beam. Okay. Darling.
Okay, doesn't do a damn thing without power.
I'm glad your snarky attitude has made it into your expansion. But your presence here, that's something noteworthy. Open up. I guess we'll have to find a way to restart it. Still don't see anything.
Okay. Power core receiver. Plugging a core in should get the lights on.
Great, there's always something more. What is this device right here? Oh, never mind, I see. These are canvases, not walls or cubicles. I'm hearing things all over.
That is not a regulation FBC weapon. Jules's keycard could be useful.
Unfortunately, Jules' keycard went missing last night. Huge shame. On a totally unrelated note, I now have a level 3 clearance card in my office, plus a lot of Blackrock. Been grinding the Blackrock down to a powder and stashing around in case any gets confiscated. Next steps, weapon tests using Blackrock powder. If successful, maybe send schematics to offsite teams? Could lead to a transfer out of here. Need to think up more applications for Blackrock now that I have some. There was a researcher at the OH who had tons of ideas like this. Wish I could remember their name. You were smuggling Blackrock into here to conduct your own personal research.
Can't open it from the side.
No, but if we can get our hands on that...
I wish they'd make these things lighter.
And I wish my hands were freer. At least it's sort of a light source, like a really crappy flare.
The way I saw it, there was only one way out. Identify the source of the event and contain or eliminate it. Now, good news, I just had to keep going down. Bad news, the elevator liked to disappear.
That is bad news. You know what else is bad news is I'm hearing more and more from this dark room. Oh my god. Just keep moving. Don't get too curious. Oh, that's my reflection again. Oh my god, how many times am I gonna scare myself? Day's still young.
At least the elevator's back.
From the sound of it, yeah. Run, 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 run. Let's close that door behind us, shall we? At least there's light on in the security room now.
First off, a huge thank you to everyone here. The Lake House has made amazing strides in researching the AWE here at Cauldron Lake. Great work, team. I wanted to come in person so I could check in on the latest work. I won't get in the way. It's not our view, so no reason to be scared. Did you hear that, Doctors Marmont? While I'm here, I want to focus on the relationship between the shadow and the AWE site below the lake. The theory that the shadow even originates from the dimension this threshold is tapping into is compelling. Eventually, I want to understand how this dimension manages to convert subjective elements like art into objective reality. What are the constraints of this phenomenon? Can it, say, create altered items or even objects of power simply by manifesting them via a piece of art? These are the things we need to know to accurately classify the shadow. I mean, that name is not very scientific. I mean, who came up with that? Shadow. So, any and all proposals are welcome. Anything testing art's effect on reality by using the shadow's energy is preferred. To find answers, we'll first need a lot of data. No wrong answers. And when I return to the oldest house, I'll take back anything we end up with to run against a classified project called Hedron to build a comparative data set. I wish I could tell you more. It's very, very exciting. Non-physical forces impacting. No, sorry, I really can't. It is. You know what? Maybe some of you can come visit. We'll have to get you clearance, of course, but maybe that can. You know what? I don't want to take the entire day talking. So, the shadow represents a whole new area of research, and I couldn't be more excited to start digging in. It is a great new world, people.
It is so good to see you again, Doctor. Look at him trying to hand out clearances so that he can basically invite his researcher buddies over for a play date to show off his classified material. There's me startling myself again, these reflections, my god. Okay, let's get the lights on. Something moving out there. Or is that just stuff getting thrown around? Back to the elevator, then. Let's take another save while we're at it. Also, apologies for the noises outside. Wait, this computer is on now. Blah, blah, blah. There's the security reminder that we've already seen. Pie Day. Hello. To celebrate the arrival of fall, I brought a variety of seasonal pies from that local diner you all seem to love so much. The members of Project Rhamnus can come and enjoy them in the lobby near my office. All other staff should visit the other Dr. Marmont's office to see if she brought pie. Also, despite the ridiculous dramatics of last year, I have purchased the delicious pecan-filled pies. Happy fall. Sensitivity reminder. Hello. A gentle reminder that nut allergies are a serious health issue, and making light of them is not appropriate workplace behavior for anyone of any seniority level. Bringing nuts to the office is a health risk and should be avoided for everyone's safety. Thank you. The drama continues from the whiteboard. Pages request. Perry, do not release any of those pages. Tell Diana and those fools on Project Arbitus that we misplaced them. An unfortunate filing accident. Tell them we're confident the pages will resurface in 2 or 3 weeks, but we're too busy making progress to look for them right now. Be sure you say that we're making progress, just as I wrote it above. Regards, Dr. Jules Marmont. Attention, missing Blackrock. There is a significant amount of Blackrock missing from Sublevel 5, so that's where they get it. I expect there's a misunderstanding and someone has taken it to another floor by mistake. If you did this, respond to this message and we will fix the problem. Blackrock is a precious material. We only have so much of it now with the oldest house being closed. It actually creates a logistics issue. Another thing I forgot to comment on, he mentioned Project Hedron, so these projects, they're actually interconnected. One influenced the other. We see it as Control colliding with Alan Wake in the second game, but really Alan Wake was the start of a lot of what was going on in Control. What are you? Oh my god!
Understand me. I am an agent of the Federal Bureau of Control. I can assist you if you take no hostile action against me or any action that can be perceived as hostile.
Okay, stomping towards me can certainly be perceived as hostile, and you've got that shimmer of the shadow around you. Nope! Well, at least you're solving the problem of why don't they try it in horror movies. And there's more of them coming. Okay, what do we do about this? Flashlight doesn't seem to have any effect. Nor do the bullets, honestly. Okay, around this way, into the elevator. I've just wasted an entire mag.
Fuck were those things?
I don't know, but get closing.
Okay, deep breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look, you never really get used to the shit you see in this job, but you can learn techniques to adjust, to function. Take 6 deep breaths, then get to work. Find the source, collapse the threshold.
Sir, please hold. Please hold.
Now where am I?
Hold. Please hold.
I will not.
What is that?
I don't know, but it doesn't look inviting. Oh, I love how it growls at me as I approach. Well, let's try and make contact, as must be procedure.
If you can understand me, I'm an agent of the Federal Bureau of Control. I can assist you if you take no hostile action against me or any action that can be perceived as hostile. Do you understand? Well, I'll be damned. So what kind of entity are you? You can speak. That means you probably imprinted on a person or retained some of your former self's information. Previously human, maybe? Okay, I can work with that. I just had an unpleasant encounter with some other painted individuals. Any relation? What does that mean? Okay, hey, calm down! You need to cease all hostility right
Oh my...
now.
Oh my god! Okay, we haven't stopped with the JPEG jump scares, I see.
Bad news? That thing is really pissed off. Good news. It didn't try to kill me. Baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps to calling that good news.
Angry living paintings are not typically on the Cauldron Lake bingo card. Something different was happening at the lake house, and I couldn't let it escape. Bright Falls didn't need this particular cherry on its already shitty Sunday.
That's right, you're leaving this into Alan Wake 2.
3.
One nightmare after another when you're an FBC agent, although I have to say, Remedy is continuing their tradition of great protagonists. Huh. Well, that's a good sign. Bloody handprint on the wall. Chief Technician. You've got to have something good for us here, right? March 24th, 2022, refinement process, ATD output and calibration. The automated typing device will produce writing mimicking that of Alan Wake, known parautilitarian, with the goal of affecting reality with the same consistency as Mr. Wake's writing. To reach this level of authenticity, each page produced by the ATDs must be evaluated and graded based on its similarity to Wake's original style. The pages will be graded using the following criteria. Comprehensibility. This is the most basic of criteria. The page must use language and develop stories in an understandable, organic way. Style. The page must accurately mimic the typical style of Wake's writing, using pages in the Lake House's possession as a reference. You're basically training AI. Tone. The page must accurately mimic the typical tone of Wake's writing, using pages in the Lake House's possession as reference. Content. The page must accurately mimic the typical content of Wake's writing, blah blah blah. Once pages are graded, they will be fed into the algorithm as preferred reference material, thus continuously refining the writing produced by the ATDs until they can produce near identical stories to Alan Wake. Once that is achieved, we will provide instructions to the ATD on what to write, effectively gaining control of Wake's ability to link with the Shadow's power. Depending on the success of this, you could have become Scratch at that rate. I mean, what if the changes he was fighting against were just you trying to mimic his abilities? That must be a good dog to win a ribbon like that. March 6, 2023, organizational update. Moving forward, research at the Lake House will be divided into two distinct projects. Project X10032AW, codename Arbitus, will focus on studying the writing of Redacted, with Dr. Diana Marmonts serving as project director. Project Whatever, codename Rhamnus, will focus on studying Redacted and his work, with Dr. Jules Marmonts serving as project director. Staff will soon be notified regarding their project assignment and any required desk changes. Your patience is requested during this reorganization. This is a confidential facility matter and is not to be discussed with external agents or teams. So it's a competing set of projects, Wake and the Painter. At least that's what I'm gathering from this.
Rudolph Lane stood back from the canvas. He didn't recognize the piece. Did he paint this? His mind was foggy, unfocused. He knew the Marmonts were putting something in his food. A man in a white coat came to steer Lane back to his cell. He did not resist. He was too tired. He lay on the bed, but the stench in his cell wouldn't let him sleep. An acid stink. The turpentine. The paint. It was all over him. Years of it. 1,000 paintings. 1,000 more to come. A putrid weight he could never wash away. Cold hate simmered below the mist clogging his thoughts. Hatred for the paint. Hatred for the brushes. For the Marmonts. For himself.
Forced to create against his will, until he hates his own creations. Well, we have a name now, Rudolph Lane, but now appearing in Wake's manuscript pages. The sort of recursive nature of fiction in this is kind of sending my mind spinning. Words per sentence, max 12, minimum 1, average 6.71. Is coheads one word or two? Contains dialogue, clipped phrasing, third person, omniscient, broad timeline. Concepts: Marmonts, FBC, Lake House, conflict, and dark water.
Diana and Jules Marmont had once been a team. Rising stars in the Bureau, both talented in their own way. Diana innovated and Jules got funding from the bureaucrats. Cooperation led to respect. Connection. And after a decade of hard work, the happy couple were promoted. Co-heads of research. Their first years at the Lake House were good. Challenging, but not insurmountable. Not for them. Gradually, thoughts fell into their heads like drops of dark water. Why does she get all the credit? Why does he get any credit? With that, a crack formed in the lake house. The Marmonts and their work became arrogant, erratic. The crack widened and the water seeped in.
The discord in management here actually allowed the shadow to take over, or at least get its tendrils in. I wonder if their work here could be considered a form of creative artistry. That might be a stretch. Words per sentence, max 15, min 1, average 6.41. Style, character-centric, Lane. Past tense, clipped phrasing, higher adjective usage, focused timeline. Story concepts, Rudolph Lane, paint and an odor, Marmonts, hate and conflict.
There was a crack in the lake house. The Marmonts had let the lake in, but the water could not flow. It became trapped, stagnant, went bad. The truth was controlled here. The art was not art, just content for the experiment. There was a crack in the lake house.
Okay, so that's just gonna keep looping. Now, I wonder, are you disturbed at something so personal appearing as one of these found manuscript pages? Or was that something spit out by the device talked about here? Either way, that's gotta mess with your head, right?
There was a crack in the lake house.
September 12th, 2023, Project Arbitus, initial findings report. Born in New York, currently resides in New York, married to Tamitha Booker, no children or dependents, no power criminal affiliations found, located in Bright Falls as of September 10th, writer and director of 5 stage plays, unsuccessful, confirmed artist, designation, author, playwright, disclaimer, background investigation performed in a very short amount of time per instruction. As a result, the information contained in this report is not comprehensive and possibly erroneous. This is the Bookers. Initial finding reports on Tammy. Born in Atlanta, Georgia, currently resides in New York. Married Ed Booker. No known children or dependents. No power criminal affiliations found. Author of 3 commercially successful true crime books. First publication was a poetry collection, unsuccessful. Confirmed artist, designation author, poet. Disclaimer, background investigation performed in a very short amount of time, blah blah blah. Well, we knew that they were the subject of an investigation as per documents in the base game. Nothing here. Still, maybe you could have taken these findings as a warning, huh? I mean, it was laying your flaws bare before you. Of course, that's not always the easiest thing to recognize. Now, can we do some hotkeying like before? We can, so let's throw that into slot 4. And you into slot 3.
Typewriters. Please don't let this be what I think it is. As you know by now, typewriters and Cauldron Lake do not mix. And a room full of them all clacking away. 100% bad news.
I see the commentary here. The art is not art. By trying to farm out Alan's writing, you've essentially created, I guess, machined darkness. Or on an industrial scale, but lacking substance. Progress report, typewriter brand investigation. investigation into the precise brand and model of typewriter used by Alan Wake, with the intent to use this particular brand for redacted, and the ATDs continues to be unsuccessful. Sources contacted, with discretion. Wake's publishing house, no useful information. Wake's agent, refused to discuss client matters. Wake's spouse, refused to discuss. Barry and Alice, doing great as always. Redacted, no useful information. Who else could there have been? Also didn't find anything online. The relevant team will continue to explore alternative sources of information. The ATDs will continue to be operated with the available typewriters until Wake's preferred brand is known. Theoretically, replicating Alan Wake's style of writing via the same brand of typewriter used by the author should yield optimal results. The project director has indicated that a similar investigation should be launched into the brand and type of ink used in Wake's typewriter. They're trying to control for every factor. I guess emotion was the newest one. They tried to measure it, but could they create it? I guess that remains to be seen. I guess the answer, like attempts to do so in real life, is maybe, but not like they thought. I'll take a flashbang, although I'll refrain from using it until the use for light is better known. God, the sound of dozens of these things rattling away in the dark. Do not copy Wake manuscript pages. The fact that we have PSAs specifically for that. You know, I'm having a very hard time balancing keeping it moving with all the things I would like to talk about in this moment. But we need another clearance. Wow, it really is like playing Control again. Surprised you opened, but maybe we don't want to go that way just yet. January 19th, 2022, Project Arbitus, research notes, content of Wake manuscript. We've begun to find pages from a manuscript very likely written by Alan Wake, parautilitarian and suspect in past cases involving the Cauldron Lake AWE. I do not like to bring myself or my biases into my work. I must do so here to address the matter being examined. As reference for any future readers, I am Dr. Diana Marmont, co-head of research at the Lake House facility. The page we recently found summarizes my life with Jules Marmont, husband and co-researcher. It has turned us into characters for its story, making generalizations and assumptions that I must attempt to evaluate without emotion or prejudice. But it did get to you, as we saw. The accuracy of the writing is intriguing. It reports our past in the Bureau, but also details inner thoughts that an outside recorder would have no way of knowing. Jules and I have indeed been having more and more interpersonal conflict this past year. This raises many questions. How does Wake, wherever he's writing this from, get his information? Or was the page itself determining these emotions and events? I cannot believe that the scope of Wake's ability goes so far as to have dictated my entire career at the FBC. And if it did, would it matter? Even if a person knew their life was being driven by an external force, would it change their nature, their behavior, their personality? My disagreements with Jules are not sudden shifts in personality, but rather a growing resentment. Okay, I feel like we're missing a comma here, but I firmly believe that, though I have no evidence to prove it. Which brings me to a new research query for our team. What methodology can one use to prove that their actions, their mind, their love or animosity, are theirs to control? Asking the great questions of life while trying to analyze this small portion. Okay, let's have a look at that recorder.
March 7th, 2018. Notes regarding Dr. Emil Hartman, founder of the Cauldron Lake Lodge, where he manipulated artists in an attempt to control the power of the shadow. I've gone to his notes, which were confiscated by the Bureau after his arrest in 2010. Overall, Hartman's work was sloppy. Complete disregard for proper scientific method. But he was bold enough to try something we haven't. Our procedural writing machines are promising, but we could understand the effects of Cauldron Lake's threshold much better by observing live artists in action. Thanks to Hartman, we even have a list of prospects. Next step is to send Dr. Darling a request to bring some into the lake house for analysis.
Well, that's 2018, so still set before control as far as we know. Some notes indicate 2023 as the date, but I'd always assumed 2020. God, the noise of these things. And we can't see what they're spitting out at all. I mean, I'd certainly be interested in giving it a read. You want to get into there. Do not contaminate the lake house with unrelated art. Figurines, ornaments, decorations, and other trinkets forbidden. They really wanted a sterile, artistic environment. Makes sense for what they're trying to do. Oh god, he's painting assets into existence as we speak. These are our first bodies.
Shit.
Looks like they at least tried to fight back.
I can never say no to extra firepower.
Six shells and that's all. Question. Yeah, it looks like you shot him. Was he maybe taken? And then maybe you bled out from a wound you had already received?
Back where I started. Spatial recurrence. Usually observes the law of 3.
Okay, is this a loop or a spiral? That's the question we need to be asking. Anything different in here? No, but actually, did I listen to this earlier?
September 12, 2023. Notes regarding a page of an Alan Wake manuscript I found in the archives. I checked the records, and this page is not in our inventory. I believe it manifested inside the lake house directly. I won't be filing this page. It'll just send Jules into a panic. The page is written in Wake's usual style, so I can't say for certain if it's being literal or figurative when it calls us monsters. But what's interesting is that the page indicates that a painting succeeded in linking Cauldron Lake's threshold with our facility. Writing has always been the clearly superior avenue of research, but I never considered that the writing itself would dictate a different art form as the catalyst for our success. I cannot accept that. I can't allow Jules to stumble his way into success. Not after the years of work I put into this research. I got word yesterday that 2 writers are visiting Bright Falls. I will beat Jules to the finish line.
You're trying to beat him to the finish line without realizing that these two things are connected, not competing. These people are not doing real science here, is what we're learning. I see guys moving over there. I see your flashes. Yep.
The shadow is here. Good thing you brought a flashlight.
Okay, I don't have the flashbang hotkeyed. Taken in the facility. Get over here. I want you coming to me. Well, that's 2 of you down. Still more to come. We don't want to waste our shotgun shells like that, though. The guy throwing stuff is the biggest threat. Thankfully, I've gotten pretty good at playing the game recently because of playing through Final Draft. Is there something else here, or were you moving those boxes? Ow. Four headshots is enough from the pistol. I just wish I had Saga's upgrades. Well, there goes they, and there's someone new. A big guy, too. No shadow around you. Look at that, I can actually see the little welts in your face. Oh god, move. Should I not even be trying to fight you?
Some staff down there had been corrupted. Shit just kept getting worse.
Look at that head destruction, my god. We can't go back. So I'm going to use this opportunity to heal myself up. It's one of the only 2 we've got. I can't believe with such few resources we're actually not finding things in every chest we open. Thankfully, this is not one of those times. You have not reloaded your flashlight. You say these things tend to go in 3s. But I'm hearing more painty guys, which... well, I guess running is better than fighting. In some ways. Do you try to get out of sight?
Loop 3. Should be the last one.
Yeah, but... again asking, is it a loop or a spiral? As Elster sometimes says, it's not a delivery, it's a DiGiorno. At least we've got some more resources now.
This page scared Jules away from the work on Wake's writing. A coward can't stand risk. But science is risk. For me, this is proof that we are going in the right direction. I just need Rudolph Lane's paintings to lead to more pages so that hopefully one day we can understand. I keep coming back to this.
Anything we can grab from these lockers? No. Or first aid, so that's helpful. But nothing from the first aid cabinet. Let's see what's in store for us here.
I keep coming back to this page. The author's clearly Wake.
A whole lot.
About what? What does it mean?
Forget the spiral, this is the ocean. An ocean that feeds itself. There was speculation in Documents in Control that the rise of more accessible media and just the volume of media has led to greater occurrences of paranatural phenomenon. What you've done right here is open the floodgates.
What is that?
Looks like an overlap to me. It's like we see it, but we don't. Is this a 3-time loop, or is it trying to show us something?
Controllable shifting phenomena.
Kinda like Alan's lamp. Let's try that again. Yes. Well, look, this only needs a level 1 clearance. We should be able to get in, right? Of course, who knows what'll happen after the shift. Let's just grab you. Which opens this back up again. Feeling quite defenseless in this moment. There's another we can grab from right there. Maybe we need to open both. Now we're probably... Okay, we're not trapped. Let's use our level 1 clearance here. And bring you back to where the initial one was, right? And just try and remain confident that nothing will happen along the way. Yeah, no, that power is totally severed. Has that done what it needed to? Seems so. All roads lead back to you.
You again. Alan Wake's writing is being studied here. Do you know anything about him?
Names don't matter. 1,000 more to come.
They say clear communication is the key to any relationship. You and I have some work to do there.
Quipping at entities beyond comprehension. You really are used to the job.
What happened to you? Did the people here do this to you?
Marmonts clogging his head.
You said Marmonts before. Do they do this? Where are they now?
Misery, hate.
Tell me where they are.
A man in a white coat.
Christ. It's fixated on the Marmonts. What did they do?
We know that they forced you to create against your will, but there's a missing piece still here. Let's continue the descent then.
Access denied.
Yep.
This key card isn't gonna cut it.
Maybe we missed something on level 2?
A threshold is the connection between a foreign reality and our own. Now, they all have their own rules, strange as they are, but the further down I went, the more chaotic this one got. Clearly, this was the Cauldron Lake threshold, but something was wrong. Well, more wrong than usual.
Sublevel
Level-wide
2.
lockdown in effect. Please remain calm. Level-wide lockdown in effect. Please remain calm.
Great. Hey, you want to open that so I can just kind of slide on in? No? Alright, I'll do this the hard way. More bodies. More taken.
Won't open while the floor's on lockdown.
Maybe that'll end if I get rid of all these guys. Looks like they lasted long enough to try and apply some kind of medical treatment. Is that our artist's containment cell? Need level 3. Okay, let's take this piece by piece. Eliminate them one at a time, if at all possible. Some of them are in groups.
We're sheeted. Hope that glass is thick.
Yeah. Anything we can access now will help us. God, look at your pile of phones. More shotgun.
Well, there's the elevator. How do I get in?
Same way we get everywhere, with key cards. This place really is containment, but not like how you wanted.
Finally! Someone who isn't a painting.
Can I talk to you at all? Wait, is that one of the bookers? They brought you here. Actually, that may have been mentioned in a document. You can have a look at the computer.
Hey, hello. Who are you?
Sorry, got a flow going. Can we do this later?
No, we cannot. I'm Agent Kieran Estevez. I'm with the government, and I need your name.
I'm Ed Booker, the playwright. And I'm hitting my stride here, so can you guys stop with all that banging and screaming? It's throwing me off.
What are you even doing? What are you writing?
Well, after you all abducted me in the woods, I've been working on this manuscript you gave me because you need it for some experiment or something. I kind of forget the premise. But, you know, I've had this block lately, and filling in the gaps of this story has really loosened me up. Copying the style is a nice constraint, but I still have lots of room to play. It's a solid creative exercise.
Where do you think you are right now?
In an immersive writing workshop.
Well, bad news, it's not a writing workshop. Good news, it's not a writing workshop.
Right. It's a government facility studying the power of creativity. That makes way more sense.
Okay, fair play. Just stay put.
Sir, whether you are aware of it or not, there is a situation here. I need you to stay in your cell until I can resolve the matter, okay?
Uh-huh, got it. Hey, no one's been around with food for a while. I could go for some dinner when you have a second. Oh, and can I get my phone back? I want to call my wife. I don't know how Tammy found you guys, but she killed it. 5 stars all around.
Yeah, I'll get right on that.
I'm not actually optimistic, given what we saw of the other cell.
Flashlight is the power of the artist. Sheer creativity tearing through the shadowy cloak of corporate cookie-cutter bullshit. Killer metaphor.
Oh, metaphors are killer around here. September 14th. Initial review, Booker's writing. The first piece of content produced by the subject is severely disappointing. It is not remotely similar in content to the wake pages we provided as reference. Why is it so focused on my marriage? Why is Jules the protagonist? Why is it set in an actual lakeside cabin? And what is happening at the end? What the hell is in the sky? Did anyone brief Booker about the concepts he has to write about? The lake house? The shadow? We need him to match Wake's style exactly. It's not going to work if he has no clue what he's writing about. We need to get this sorted. We need progress now. And why isn't he taking this seriously? When I spoke to him, he thought I was an actor. I want him to understand how serious we are, whatever it takes. Well, you've only had him for a few hours at this point, right? Assignment. Continue the story from page ID AW002. Match the tone, style, and content of AW002 as closely as possible. The crack was an emotional one. A line right through their marriage, their foundation, their lake house. These thoughts and more flooded Jules' mind as he stared out through the lakeside cottage's windows. The sun was setting on a stormy day. Rain-heavy clouds hung low, weighed down with the burden of purpose. Diana sat in her favorite deck chair, staring out across the lake's rippling surface. He watched the breeze catch her acorn hair. As if sensing his gaze, she turned her head. Jules looked away, flustered, then annoyed with himself for letting her affect him this way. He grabbed the bottle of red wine and poured himself a generous serving. And he kept pouring, his mind distracted by a thought. How did we get here? They had been at the lab running an experiment. Then they were here. Why? He remembered thinking that a break from the lab would give them space to reconnect, to mend the crack. But he couldn't remember ever leaving. Wine was flowing over the rim of his cup, though he didn't even notice. He put down the bottle, scanning the lake. A faint shimmer hung in the air on the far side of the lake, like light hitting glass. The sort of thing you only noticed if you were looking for it. He felt like he had seen something like this before. But where? Jules! Diana's cry snapped Jules back into the present. She was staring up at the sky in panic. A deep shadow crept across the deck. Jules ran to the door, to his wife. Unnerving in its writing and for its potential to be prophetic. But also I can't help but notice the parallel between Alan and Alice's arrival at Cauldron Lake. We need another password. That is unbelievably funny. Okay, there's your reminder, sensitivity reminder, Pi Day, blah blah blah. Holy crap. Jules just sent out a memo asking us to spy on his wife's project. Remember when we just made fun of his stupid project names and science factoids? Simpler times. He really did that? Diana's gonna slit his throat if she finds out. Those two are such a hot mess. I got drinks with Perry last night, and he told me Jules is withholding wake pages from Diana's team. He told her they went missing. Crazy. Paul mentioned you two were thinking about asking for a transfer. You'd really leave me here all alone? We can have weekly gossip calls. Promise. This was August 31st. Maybe they shipped out just in time. Knowing Remedy, I wouldn't be surprised if they're setting up stuff that comes much later with all this.
They're kidnapping people to make art.
I guess that's the next logical step if the typewriters weren't proving fruitful. Retrieval order. Acquisition team is hereby approved to acquire additional research subjects for ongoing study related to Project Arbutus at the Lake House facility. Prioritize outcomes as ordered below. Both subjects brought to the Lake House for study. Tamitha Booker. Her work is more commercially successful, thus more likely to yield results based on proven cases. Edward Booker. Less successful than Tamitha, but theater is more widely recognized as art than true crime novels. Observe the subjects at a distance, and only move to acquire if the opportunity arises. Under no circumstances can this operation draw the attention of local law enforcement. Signed, Diana Marmont. Subject's writing must feature darkness, water, the Marmonts, the lake house, and conflict. Did anyone explain any of this to him? They've got their internal memos, but due to secrecy, we of course can't share any of that with him. I guess that's probably her bag then, right? God, this does not look good. Work order, wall removal and transport. Sublevel 2, lane cell. Work required. A section of the cell's southern wall needs to be removed for transport to sublevel 5 for analysis. I guess he decided to express himself on it? Tools required. It's not my job to know which tools you use to cut concrete walls. It's your job. Additional details. Important. The wall must be removed very carefully. The painting on the interior side of the wall must not be damaged. They had to cut through it from this side without cutting into it.
What happened here?
Jules Marmont looked at the painting. He didn't understand it, saw only random whirls of color. Drugging Lane made him more compliant, but his work had turned abstract. Jules needed more art his team could parse, could test, trial and error. These abstract explosions of color complicated the data. His grip tightened around the letter opener in his hand. The piece of art he needed was hidden inside Lane. If Jules could simply cut the painter open and pull the painting out of him, he would. The overhead lights flickered. Jules would make Lane cooperate. No more drugs. Less carrot, more stick. Jules had to go faster. He wouldn't lose to Diana. Nothing else mattered.
I had said earlier that there's a parallel between them and Yakko and Ilmo. They're really more dark foil, I suppose. At least if we were to use media references. Project Rhamnus, Subject Condition Report. Rudolph Lane has shown a decline in something over the past several months. Initially, this presented as an increase in resistance, frequently declining requests to work. However, given time and pressure, subject would always relent. Subject's attitude toward art has also undergone a change recently. He's disinterested in his work, quickly becoming frustrated and sometimes even damaging or destroying the piece before it's completed. In the past few months, his work has become much more abstract, no longer showing true-to-life subjects or landscapes, but rather conceptual art that is much harder to define or categorize. Whether this sudden interest in abstraction was a form of rebellion, a consequence of growing redacted, or a source of genuine artistic interest is unknown. Well, you can't force art. This is the inevitable result. As of yesterday, subject refuses to touch his supplies. He claims he will not paint anymore and wishes to leave. The subject's refusal has effectively halted all research. While the team can continue to run tests on the backlog of paintings, they estimate that there is little new information to gain. The subject must continue to paint if work is to proceed. However, the team is concerned that convincing the subject with force or coercion may only entrench him further in his position. Action to be taken. Dr. Jules Marmont, co-head of research and project lead, suggested that a high dose of redacted be introduced to the subject's food to cure his redacted. If the subject's attitude does not improve, low doses of redacted will be introduced in order to improve his compliance.
I can't paint anymore. I know you want me to paint, but I can't. I'm empty.
Rudolph, no. You love to paint. And you are such a talent. This is just a classic artist slump.
No, I hate it. It's just taking from me now. When can I leave? You said you'd let me leave.
Rudolph, but you volunteered to come, remember? We are helping you, like Dr. Hartman did. Perhaps you need to see our doctor? I can arrange that.
No, that's... I am feeling better. Much better. I will paint.
Ah, this is wonderful to hear, Rudolph. I knew you would come back to your old self.
The excitable personality is a front. You are ruthless. And also, like Dr. Hartman before, I mean, maybe it's while Hartman was allowed to continue his stuff, but I'm now remembering there were painters at Hartman's facility in the first game. Maybe we actually crossed paths. Artists for analysis, not for admiration. Stay focused on your work. It's all about breakdown, about burnout. Or further down here. I guess the corpses are the lucky ones. It may not be a huge facility, but I guess we can expect some shifting geometry. That's the good stuff. Just trying to get that muscle memory down. Control center. We can probably lift the lockdown from here. Do we want to just yet? We may not have a choice. But it's certainly gearing us up.
A higher access card. Sorry, but I need this.
Howdy, that wasn't just my reflection this time.
Paintings did they have this guy make?
Catalog of Rudolph Lane, from painting session on Redacted. Designation, black circular shape among yellow lines. An uneven circle painted in dark black in the foreground, with jagged yellow or brown mustard lines behind it. Lines sometimes overlap with each other and or bleed into the black circle. Lone tree at night. A dark green tree, possibly pine, standing in a dark landscape, presumably night. Empty road and forest. A dark gray streak across a dark green landscape, presumably a forest at night. The gray streak is likely to be a road due to its location, color, and the way its width reduces in line with the perspective. So you're trying to interpret the more abstract works. Note, a small white shape in the road could be a page of writing by Alan Wake. Relevant teams have been informed and are searching for the site to attempt page retrieval. Yellow crescent shape on black canvas. A curved yellow shape in a roughly crescent shape painted onto an otherwise empty canvas. Possibly a crescent moon or banana. An unfinished piece. Red, yellow, and green circle. 3 uneven circles, one red, one yellow, one green, roughly arranged in a vertical line. Background is black and gray, with dark red streaks along the border of the canvas. Possibly a traffic light? Cityscape with blue-gray sky. Gray vertical shapes, likely the skyline of a city, in the bottom third of the canvas with vivid blue-gray sky. Geometric shapes painted in thin white lines can barely be made out among the colors of the sky. Black void. A deep black void covering the entire canvas with a few small specks of dark or light gray able to be seen on close inspection. Large variety of black spirals. Now that is interesting. A large number of rough spirals painted in black, ranging in size from that of a quarter to that of a basketball. Though the canvas appears quite covered, it is blank aside from the spirals. Brown shape with horns. A brown shape, vaguely triangular with what are presumably horns extending from the shape, likely an animal head, Possibly a deer or elk. Black background. Reminiscent of the cult of the tree. And some of these also representative of the paint on some of the doorways we've seen at a certain ocean view. You require a password too. But we've got the clearance. No thanks. Yep, there is the password policy that they're trying to remind us of. Makes sense that all computers in the facility would be following the same convention. September 14th. I made that reservation for our anniversary, which I certainly never forgot was a week from this Friday. Let's take separate cars from the office. Can't have the bosses see us leaving together now that those hypocrites have banned inter-office relationships. Have a good day. Trisha update. I just found out what happened to Trisha. Jules fired her. I knew it. She was way too vocal in last week's all-hands meeting. She had valid concerns. That man is a tyrant. Speaking up about safety is no reason to fire someone. Can you believe this new password policy? What security concerns are they even talking about? We're a fenced-off government bunker in the middle of nowhere. I think they're getting paranoid. Anyway, I set the security terminal's new password like the memo suggested. Our anniversary is the base numbers, then black void. Okay, that's the next set of numbers. Yeah, the Marms are losing it. Big surprise. I bet Diana set Jules' background to a big old turd or something. Once again, making their crappy marriage everyone else's problem. The password you sent didn't work. Black Void is 44, right? From the list of Lane's paintings? I need to get in, or this is going to be a total waste of Wednesday. 44 is right, yeah. So I guess you're telling me you don't know when our anniversary is. Well, good luck with that. That is the best way to hold that over somebody's head. Today's password is the date of our special, unforgettable anniversary, plus brown shape with horns. Love you. I maintain that seeing a movie together does not begin a relationship. So it wasn't exactly reciprocal. Okay. So, September 14th. A week from that Friday would be the 22nd. So, 22nd, brown horns. 25. There we are.
Without HQ, more situations like this are gonna fall through the cracks. I'm glad someone here stood up to him.
Hello, Mr. Kingston. I'm writing because I have serious concerns about safety protocols being disregarded across the facility. I've collected a list of violations that I personally observed. I can send this to you. My opinion on the matter is that both Dr. and Dr. Marmont are driving this facility's staff into progressively more reckless behavior. Now, that makes sense. With the oldest house in lockdown, there's no central head steering all of this, and each of these facilities is kind of free to act as it pleases. And as we learn to control, people love their pet projects. Hello, Mrs. Howard. Thank you for sharing your opinion. All facility operations and safety measures are under the purview of the heads of research. If you have a complaint, please file it directly to them or contact the Bureau's acting management team in Dallas. Thank you. Mr. Kingston, I thought we reported to the acting management team in Kansas. I've reached out to them about this issue multiple times and gotten no response. Even if they did respond, we all know they don't have the staff to investigate every internal issue after the oldest house went into lockdown. I believe the Marmonts are knowingly using this state of chaos to their advantage. Our treatment of research subjects is in clear violation of the Ash Act. These are punishable offenses. If you do not open an internal investigation, then I will resign. And we know that she's gone. Never change, FBC staff. Well, I suppose that ship has sailed. Alright, after another look around, let's unlock these doors. And get ready for a pretty sizable fight.
You are now safe to resume working.
Well, I'm free to resume working.
Facility. Sublevel 1. You copy?
No, turn back. Area is extremely hostile.
Let's save our ammo where we can. Come on. Okay, that did nothing. Come on. Go down, like, actually, please. You need to be, like, right point blank for that to actually do the right amount of damage. It's already a substantial amount of what we had. Okay, maybe a flashbang would be worth it here. Nope, you're spreading out too much. It's done. Alright, single file, come on. Two shots to stagger, so it's like we had that upgrade. Looking good. Now, something I learned playing the first time around is that we should be able to go bang and bang, one shotgun, one pistol for a kill. Alright, good staff slaughter. Wonder if there are any better clearances in here. So I will take the reimbursement. Once more, I really can't overstate how badly the flashlight works in this game.
Had a thought today, a possible avenue for further research. When we think of art successfully affecting reality, we always think of Alan Wake and his writing. This could be due to recency bias or simply the amount of recorded evidence skewing our opinion. But also, I wonder if writing's very nature is an advantage. Text can describe events in such explicit detail. The story gives the shadow a blueprint, a map of what to make real. But not all art is like this. Music, sculpture, dance, cuisine, in our case, a painting. When the source material is open to interpretation, how will the shadow choose to interpret it? I think Diana will find the question very interesting. Most likely, she already has an answer. That's why I love her.
Must be one of those older logs. Yes, I'll take all the battery I can get. Hopefully it's also like the base game where you'll start dropping things if I run low. Here they come. See you. Two shots is enough if we're close enough. You just have to be it's very video game shotgun. You know, you look a lot like that one, you look like that one containment head from Control. Your model. Okay, you're gonna be one of the faster ones. One of the faster ones that throws. I love it. I love it when dodging just doesn't work. Okay, here we go. Oh, there's still so much more to see. So much reading. Okay, I can't do anything about you if you won't get close enough for me to... Oh my god. I can't do anything if I can't get close enough to flashlight you. That stagger is critical. There we go. So many doors open to us, but I have not forgotten about the projector room. Team notice. As you may know, a valued member of our team was recently reassigned off of Project Arbitus. Carla Livingston's designs and engineering expertise were a key part of the creation of the ATDs. Their contributions to the project cannot be overstated. The project team should rest assured that their reassignment was an error that should be corrected soon. Our project director, Diana Marmont, would like to remind all team members that any directives or assignment from Dr. Jules Marmont have no bearing on Arbitus staff and should be ignored. Thank you for your attention. When left hand fights right hand, in work as dangerous as this, that's a recipe for disaster, even without the perfect storm brewing all around them. Oh my... Hi, howdy, what's up? Ah, you've got a weak point. Got a little more health, too. Are you considered a... Oh, I guess you're considered a big guy. You didn't look that tall. Whatever, you're dead now. December 13th, 2019. Background report on Rudolph Lane. In 2010, Lane was inadvertently involved in AWE 35 while residing at the Cauldron Lake Lodge, where he lived under the care of Dr. Emil Hartman. Lane was seriously injured during the AWE. He received medical care in Seattle for 2 months, during which time he was questioned and cleared by FBC staff. After the Cauldron Lake Lodge was seized and closed by the FBC, Lane moved to Watery, Washington, where he currently resides. Recent surveillance confirms he has no known personal relationships or affiliation with paranatural groups. As requested, the observation team has confirmed that Lane continues to paint as of the date of this report. You actually were there at the same time as Alan. Hey, you still hanging in? Guess so. Man, you must think this is some immersive experience, huh? But you're level 3. You're level 3, so I guess we just have to get moving then.
My team was on Sublevel 1. I knew they were in danger.
Well, let's see what we can do, but I'm not optimistic.
The Marmonts turned innocent people into tools using the FBC's authority. They thought they were untouchable out here, hidden away in the woods. No. Actions have consequences. And I'm the consequences.
I love you.
Sublevel 1.
Ah, you fucking bastard!
It's Jules.
Marmont killed my team. He was taken by the shadow. I'm sorry. I should get that gun while I'm up here.
Yeah, now that we've got the clearance. Let's see how well Blackrock does against these things. Unfortunately, you still can't be fought, but I guess the black rock is probably how we do that. Please move. If we can make it through, how do we actually do this? Ow, I was nowhere near you. You're not gonna plop down, I guess, unless we get too close. I just reloaded, because screw accepting that damage when there's so little health. But again, that doesn't help us until this thing moves. So we probably need to work our way to that security area. I can hear you snarling out there. Can't close the door for some reason.
How do I get in the room with that gun? Can't open it from the side.
But if we move that, we can. So the checkpoint it is. We've got to actually study these paintings for shapes, such as right there. Or you might just come off anyway if we study you for long enough. Maybe you don't like being observed. Problem is, this place is a maze, and it seems to have shifted since I was last here. Or maybe, I don't know. There's a whole lot of stuff in the middle. This one we can close. Can you open doors? That remains to be seen. He was always worried that his art was hollow. Maybe it's not intelligent.
I mean, that name is not very scientific. I mean, who came up with that? Shadow.
There you are.
I run the lake house. It's my facility. Mine! He cannot just walk in here for 1 week, make some speeches, and then fly back to New York. Espèce de crétin, prétentieux. The jackass thinks he's a fucking rock star. And he made fun of the name. Huh. Oh, the shadow. The shadow is good. It's evocative. He is just a jealous, spoiled little child. And I will make it so everyone can see this. I will make it so no one even remembers his name. To see ces imbéciles là, hein? They all think I am a pencil pusher. They think I do not have the mind for such work. Eh bien, ils verront. Ils verront! I will take what they think is possible. And I will break it.
Well, we see how that worked out for you. Did I ever open this computer? Okay, it's open. Let's see if that door is accessible. Perhaps BlackRock technology can kill them? Ah, how? What? What? I guess we can break off of that with enough doing. But we really need to get moving. We're so slow right now. Elevator blocked off, but that's not what we're worried about. That is now open, yes. Move. Close behind. Not what I told you to do! There was the last of our health. Hopefully it sees fit to give us more. What is that? Blackrock rounds. Modified explosive rounds containing Blackrock fragments. There's the gun itself.
There was a crack in the lake house. The Marmonts had let the lake in, but the water could not flow. It became trapped, stagnant, went bad. The truth was controlled here. The art was not art, just content for the experiment. The contrived overlap rebounded on itself, compressing, compounding, reflecting and refracting. An urban legend and a murder in constant imbalance, cause and effect hopelessly entangled. Arranged wrong, the dream logic flawed. The feedback loop doubled and redoubled, out of control. The pressure kept building, looking for a release.
Cause and effect hopelessly entangled. That's Alan Wake in a nutshell.
Okay, this should get me down to sublevel 5.
And we've got our level 3
This
clearance.
should get me past any other problems.
It's not a machine gun, it's a grenade launcher. Charge it by holding down click. Charge shots go farther and deal more damage on impact. Any unaccompanied artist must be reported to security immediately. Progress update 5. Got the firing mechanism working. It's throwing the test projectiles a good distance. Turned out pretty nicely. The fittings between the grenade launcher and custom components are a bit loose. No proper lathe here, but at least it works. Now I need some actual Blackrock for the tests. I know there's some on sublevel 5, but the acting inventory supervisor doesn't get access to that floor. Next steps? Source Blackrock. Well, I'm glad you did. Okay. Alright. Let's see how this works. Did it work, or did you just go back in? For the time being, it may be more expedient just to leave you be. We've got to find that elevator, which means we've got to move these things again.
Finally! Something works on these bastards!
Can destroy them. But ammo is limited, so let's keep that mostly to a minimum for now. Only if we get cornered, only if we have to. Keep away. And shift. Oh, I have not assigned you to a quick slot, I'm sorry. Let's just stuck you in 2. 1 for taken, 2 for paintings. Nope. You guys can grab from a pretty big distance. Wait, but how am I... Okay, there we go. Motion activated, thank you. But let's not forget about level 2.
The Shadow had changed Jules Marmont into a hostile, paranatural entity. That made everything simpler. No arrest, no paperwork. I could put him down like the monster he was.
Sublevel 2.
You've clearly got a mind for both procedure and practicality. Makes you an ideal agent. You things are going to be everywhere now, aren't you? I see that thing over there. But we're in. Two of them, in fact. Let's just not look.
Lane was found dead in his cell this morning. It's an unfortunate setback. But when a door is closed, a window is opened. What's the saying? Lane may be gone, but he left us with a goodbye present. A final piece of art.
The one we've been seeing.
This piece is different. It's raw emotion, pure truth. He put everything he had into this one. Literally. Every reading we take is off the charts. This is what we have been waiting for. It is the key. I will achieve what no one has before me. Not darling, that arrogant shit. Not my selfish harpy or the wife.
So, we have a painter and a painting that can talk. Clearly connected. But Lane was dead before any of this even happened.
I never needed any of them. The fools will finally see me for the genius I am.
Are you maybe thinking you can follow what he did? Okay. There's a door right there, an interview room. Ah! That's... Oh my god! Goodbye. I was just thinking about making a run for this box over here. The sense of humor of this game. I could. Open. To Project Rhamnus staff. Status of Project Arbitus. As a head of research at the Lake House, it is important that I am informed of all proceedings at this facility. Since the other Dr. Marmont is failing to provide me with details about her team's progress, I ask that you all seek information from members of her team. Anyone who comes to me with details on Project Arbitus's current progress will be rewarded. Well, there's your espionage program. Within the facility, that's insane. We now have access to the security room. I guess that taken came out when we lifted the lockdown. September 5th, readings report, threshold activity. Readings collected over the last 48 hours show a rising increase in activity stemming from the Cauldron Lake threshold, likely indicating an imminent AWE scenario. The highest recorded reading exceeded the safety limit, necessitating a general alert and requesting assistance from the assigned AWE response team. However, no alert or contact with external teams has been made, per the recent amends to this procedure. As specified, the monitoring team will take no action until sign-off from either Dr. Marmont or Dr. Marmont has been received. Considering the rate of escalation that recent data indicates, the monitoring team strongly recommends that the AWE response team be contacted immediately. That's us. And we've got more health. I've just noticed there's actually paint on my jacket. Okay, let's head to level 4 first. Look, it's all over the elevator, too.
Sir, please hold.
This is not level 4.
Please hold. Please
It could be.
The Marmonts were holding a painter here. Rudolph Lane. Does that ring a bell?
The shame of a man.
I think you are, or were, Rudolph Lane.
Himself, a self-portrait, make them see.
Look, I might be able to help you, but I need information, cooperation.
No brush, just himself.
Well, let's get to sublevel 5 then, shall we? Maybe... Oh. Maybe what you mean is that he doesn't need to actually paint anymore.
Rudolph Lane was dying. Both murderer and victim. Red hues ran down his hands. Was it scarlet? Or cadmium? Too vivid to be maroon. Names don't matter, he decided. Color was pure. Inspiring. For the first time in years, he wanted to paint. A self-portrait. To say goodbye. No. To make them remember. To make them see what they did. He slapped his hands against the wall to steady himself. He began from there. No brush. Just himself. The strokes were crude. Violent. The pain, misery, and hate he'd endured there. The fire in his eyes and hands and bones all spread into the shape of a man. It was quick. Natural. Like a heart attack. He slumped down to the floor, smiling at the anger he left smeared across the wall.
You were being literal. Well, let's see what's going on sublevel 5.
Sublevel 4.
Okay.
Where'd the elevator go?
Yeah, I don't even have to... I mean, I will, but I don't have to look back anymore to know that that's going to happen. This place is like a pyramid. It gets larger and wider the deeper we go. Okay, that's a bit of good news. And some more gear. What I would really like is more Blackrock rounds. We've got how many left? 3? Well, it's something. There we go. But I may have discovered another anomaly while we were at it. I'm getting that this is not supposed to look this way. Oh god. Willem Dafoe? Why were these here for study? Maybe studying the deer imagery? Perhaps I can skirt by this way. I've got to be careful of these pages on the ground. They might be manuscript. Here they come. Here they come. Here they come. Keep it moving. We're getting turned around, though. More Blackrock. Nope, not quite. I could destroy them, but I don't want to until I know exactly what's needed. You guys at the same time? Not beneficial. And we have been entirely turned around. More 12 gauge. Alright, I think we may have lost the painterly pack for now. But you're another matter. Okay, how about you? Oh, in what world is that a hit? Okay, dodging just doesn't work when you go backwards, I guess.
Diana sat in her office. A weak desk light kept the darkness around her at bay. The silence of the archive suited her. She scowled at a series of graphs when the room turned red. Alarms blared. Breach detected. Then the walls of the archives rumbled. A tremor in the bones of the facility. One by one, the red lights went dark as a wave of nothing poured in from all sides. Diana stood, but there was nowhere to run. The sheer depth of the darkness terrified her. She realized they had done this. Her and Jules. Their ambition. Their hatred. Her desk lamp flickered. In the brief moment before it all went dark, she thought of Jules' smile.
I wonder if he would have done the same. Probably not, but we just gotta keep moving. And be ready to fight you folks. Got the dodging in this, coupled with the ineffective flashlight, very bad. Very bad. Bang. Bang. Okay, you are gonna require something more. I wonder if Blackrock does work on you. Hardly matters. There's another one. You're going through it. Kinda wish you had stayed how you were. Lucky hit, but we need more. Okay, getting headshots on somebody that moves like you do is not going to be easy. So have some body shots instead. And we're right back around. This is nothing. Well, except more 9mm. I can hear you singing out there. Diana, you're down here, aren't you? Nope. 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 Do you nope? How am I navigating this? Like that, I guess. Well, we found our way in the end. December 15th, 2017, Annual Threshold Study. Progress in the Lake House's directive to understand and suppress the Cauldron Lake threshold has improved this year. Research in the areas of threshold energy detection and measurement have made great strides, allowing us to work with the Investigations Department in the construction of an early warning system near the shore of Cauldron Lake. Exploring the relationship between the shadow and sources of light continues to be difficult without active threshold manifestations to test against. Careful what you wish for. Additional means of containment and offensive measures against the shadow have similarly been difficult to develop without an active AWE, though theoretical research continues. Research into threshold suppression techniques is ongoing, with no clear determination regarding their viability possible at this time. The team has been testing counter-frequency projection in the vicinity of Cauldron Lake, with all findings being sent to Dr. Darling as requested. In summary, 2017 has been a successful year, with further promising breakthroughs predicted for 2018. September 12, 2020, research mandate. Before Dr. Darling was lost in the lockdown of the oldest house, this is 2020, he tasked the lake house with discovering the nature of the shadow and its ability to convert art into reality. During our diligent research into this phenomena, it has become clear that Dr. Darling was not dreaming big enough, which leads us to the new goal of the lake house and its talented staff: to create a stable connection between the Cauldron Lake threshold and our own dimension. Threshold traversal has only ever been possible inside the oldest house, and occasionally during altered world events, though this is often an involuntary process. The Shadow's known attraction to art provides us the perfect opportunity to create the world's first controlled bridge between dimensions, which can be safely traversed in either direction. Oh, you fools. A laboratory will be built on Sublevel 5, where experimentation related to linking with the threshold will be performed, hence the Black Rock. This location will take full advantage of our proximity to Cauldron Lake. In this laboratory, we will simultaneously develop machinery that can connect with the AWE site in the lake, and use art as the focal point to create the bridge. Precise methods are yet to be determined, though teams will soon be formed to explore processes involving art as a dimensional anchor, reality manipulation via art, and machine-assisted coupling. Both of them signed off on this one. Which means they both share blame.
September 13th, 2023. Notes regarding the concept of the tortured artist. A romanticized image of the sensitive artistic temperament, yes. But there may be truth in the cliche. It's no secret Rudolph Lane has been unhappy here for years. But the aggregate data shows his art's viability score trending upward over time. If Jules hadn't neglected to hold regular psychological exams, then we could have quantified the subject's emotional state, creating a sort of distress rating to compare against the art score. I'll make this a sub-goal of my study of Edward Booker. Once we set the variables and establish a control reading of his art and mental state, then we can begin inducing negative emotion. Limited food and water, perhaps. An increasingly tight living space. This is how Jules lost his subject, though. Need to be careful not to leave any sharp objects in Booker's cell.
You were gonna set him on the same path. You paid lip service to learning the lesson, but you learned the wrong lesson. July 15th, 2016, Project Arbitus, the definition of art, a study. To truly comprehend the threshold within Cauldron Lake, we must first understand its attraction to art. However, even the definition of art is as varied as the range of crafts that fall under the name. To that end, we must open a track of research dedicated to defining and quantifying art, ultimately rendering the concept into a unit of measurement. To begin, let's not try to understand humanity's definition of art, but rather Cauldron Lake's preferences. Past cases of Cauldron Lake's threshold affecting reality have centered on writing, as in Wake 2010. Cinematography is also suspected, though not directly confirmed. Zane 1970. What about other mediums? We'll need to test the viability of painting, poetry, music, photography, sculpting, dance, and so on, not to mention the myriad of genres or methods within each medium. And what about crafts outside of the most common artistic expressions? Does any act of creation on a high level of expertise merit the title of art? Baking? Woodworking? What about non-physical mediums? Why is music an art and philosophy is not? Does something become art due to its medium, its quality? Or perhaps simply through the intent of expression? Or an equation made up of all three? What would be the order of importance? What thresholds must each factor reach for the equation to succeed? You're asking unanswerable questions. Clearly there is much to determine. We must begin with developing a methodology using a vast range of arts and general creative endeavors, both physical and mental, then find a way to test their potential connection to Cauldron Lake's threshold. Cauldron Lake is an enigma, with many layers to pull away if we're to understand it, and ultimately bring it under control. The work will take years. And here's its culmination. May 12th, 2021. Follow-up report. On the morning of Redacted, the musician held at the lake house for research purposes was discovered missing from her cell. Security footage of the cell from the night before was damaged by electrical interference of an undetermined nature. Redacted, known professionally as Redacted, had produced a song called 6 Deep Breaths during her time at the lake house that was considered very promising as research material by Dr. Marmonts. She somehow used her song to orchestrate her escape? Efforts to find her were brief, with any wider search considered an unacceptable risk to the lake house mandated confidentiality. We're listening to the result. Action to be taken. An investigation is currently ongoing as to whether any staff at the lake house were involved in her disappearance. An investigation is currently ongoing as to whether the subject used the song they created as a means of escape. All material related to and work produced by her will be stored in the archive for future reference, right here. Well, we'll make a note of that. It may be important for later.
The lake house was underwater. The Marmonts' ambitions had finally been realized. Jules had dangled the painting like a lure and hooked an ocean. Their machines couldn't hold it. A fault in the system. The water rushed in, filled it until it was ready to burst. All their successes and failures had led them here. The work had made them into monsters, but the lake house was still theirs. It always would be. They could feel an outsider trespassing in their labs. "I know you're here," they called out to the dark. They hunted floor by floor. They wouldn't let the intruders stop their progress. This was their home, their beloved tomb beneath the waves.
Precisely what it feels like. Password 685298. Right? 685298. Letter from Darling, archived. This is 2018. Diana, I just received a letter from Darling about a request you made to bring in live subjects. What were you thinking? Do you know how that looks? What did he say? Was it approved? No, he refused. You know protocol doesn't allow this sort of thing. And he says he'll be making a trip to the lake house to check in on us soon. Like we're children. This is very bad for our reputation, Diana. Please, if you have an idea like this, come to me first. Diana, considering the details on the new page we found, I believe we need to abandon the research into Alan Wake's writing. We must not endanger our staff. This is only 6 months ago. This could be an act of, I guess, reverse psychology. Or not reverse psychology, but just sabotage. Don't pretend like you're worried about them, Jules. You're just looking out for yourself. The fact that the pages are detailing future events means they are the correct method. We have to learn how to harness their power and dictate events to meet our goals, not Wake's, whatever those may be. The ATDs are producing better and better results. We just need to keep doing the work. No, Diana. I'm looking at the page right now. Constant imbalance, out of control, a crack in the lake house. If we continue with this research, we will lose our facility. Perhaps more than that. What is the point in succeeding if we're dead? I am a head of research here, and I forbid you from proceeding. You can't forbid anything. You're not going to keep me from the most important work of my life. If you're too much of a coward to keep pushing ahead, then I'll finish what we set out to do here alone. We have plenty of ongoing lines of research. I suggest you pick one and leave Wake's writing to me. You always needed me more than I needed you. And from Miss Greensburg to J. Watterson. Hello, Dr. Marmont. I received your formal complaint about Jules' behavior. You claim he's maliciously keeping research material away from your team, but he says they've simply been misplaced. I understand you're frustrated, but I recommend giving this team a week or so to find the pages and return them to your team. If this issue persists at that point, then let's discuss your desire to escalate this issue. Does that sound agreeable? Too little? Far too late. The floor almost looked wet for a moment. Like I'm wading into dark water. It's not gonna let me leave, but is anything different? You know, you mentioned this as your way of keeping cool earlier. I don't believe in coincidences in a game like this, so we'll keep that in mind as well. Maybe by running through here we can get some idea. Look at that damage. I hear something. Ah, right here. Howdy.
Big experiment tomorrow. I can't find the details anywhere.
This doesn't look like Lane's style. Different artist?
All those years, he steals credit from my ideas and my work, and now he's scared of being plagiarized? Oh, that is really fucking rich, Jules. Oh, and he's reportedly misplaced the manuscript pages I need for my work. Suddenly, the exact pages that I need to reference have just vanished. He is actively impeding critical bureau research. I mean, if he can do that, then what is stopping me from going down to that lab? And I don't know, just inverting the amplifiers or misaligning the receivers or both? It's the same thing in principle. He booked the lab. Some big experiment tomorrow. I can't find the details anywhere. That bastard is hiding them. All those years, he steals credit from my ideas and my work, and now he's scared of being plagiarized? Oh, that is really fucking rich, Jules.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, and he's reportedly misplaced the manuscript pages I need for my
February
work.
26, 2019,
Suddenly,
from
the
Casper
exact
Darling
pages
to
that
the
I need to
Marmonts.
reference have just
Something to get you
vanished.
started.
He is
I couldn't stop thinking about this new
impeding
direction for the
critical
lake
bureau
house
research.
after I got back to New York. I hope pivoting to researching Threshold Redacted's reality manipulation effect wasn't too much of a shock for you. And it seemed like your work on containment was stalling, so I decided you could all use a fresh start. Here's something to get you started. Some drawings made by a certain Redacted a while back, found in the attached envelope. Test for any reaction they may trigger with the shadow. Still don't like how unscientific that name is. You can designate the artist as P6 in your records. I expect regular updates. Go team! You never intended for it to get like this, but Darling did start all of it.
And now he's scared of being plagiarized? Oh, that is really
That
fucking
looks
rich,
very
Jules.
familiar, don't you think?
Oh, and he's reportedly misplaced the manuscript pages I need for my work. Suddenly, the exact pages that I need to reference have just
No
vanished.
way.
He is actively impeding critical bureau research.
Quick lesson on light
if
switch
he could
cords.
do that,
If you find
then what
one,
is
pull
stopping
it
me
3
from going
times.
down to that lab? And I don't know.
Oh, you
just
don't need to remind
inverting the
me.
amplifiers or misaligning the receivers or both. It's the same thing in principle.
The Ocean View Motel is a dimensional intersection. The doors from the lobby can lead anywhere, but I didn't end up in the lobby this time, which was definitely unusual.
These hallways are looking a bit longer than I remember. Then again, it does take different forms. That's a different symbol than I've seen before. Also, you're trusting Saga with a lot of information. Is there possibly a promotion in her future? Is that Trench? That's certainly the oldest house.
Panopticon? But the Panopticon is at headquarters. Yeah.
I'm outside in a forest. The sun is shining. Birds are calling. I feel dirt beneath my feet. The breeze. Everything's. I'm in a forest. Sun on my face.
Dylan.
Birds are flying past. Leaves rustle. In a forest. Not here. Sunlight. Trees are everywhere. A field of flowers. Not here. Not here. Not here.
I should have made that connection earlier. I can't seem to interact. Oh, I can talk to you. I guess, from somewhere?
I'm Agent Kieran Estevez, Federal Bureau of Control. Identify yourself.
It's quiet.
Who are you?
It's been a long time since I've seen anyone.
There's a sign over there for the Panopticon. The Panopticon's only in New York, in HQ. Is this the oldest house?
I think that's where I am.
So you are inside the oldest house. Is anyone else alive?
Can't.
It's a waste of time. This is an FBC containment unit. Why is the Bureau detaining you?
I'm where I belong.
Everyone I meet here is either a painting or a paracriminal.
Comes with the job.
Hey, this is important. FBC headquarters went dark 4 years ago.
It's been the entire
What
time.
exactly happened in there?
We were attacked. No, not again. Not yet. No.
Hey, stay with me. Stay with me.
Okay.
What attacked the oldest house? I need to know.
Something's changing. Outside. Can you feel it? I can hear it. It's getting worse. You can't stay, can you?
Hold on. I need to know if I can...
Tell Jesse I tried. I really did.
He booked the lab, some big experiment tomorrow. I can't find
At least my voice is back to normal.
Were we experiencing the early stages of his corruption? And I guess it wasn't entirely driven out, not of him. But at least we have an elevator now, so maybe we can finish this. Gotta say, this is a pretty substantial DLC, especially considering it came packaged with the purchase of Night Springs.
Oh, Jesus.
Me too, Kieran. Me too.
2, 3,
Sublevel 5.
6. No.
There it is. We saw this in our vision earlier. The piece so strong it reached out directly to the thing in the lake, allowing them to meet in the middle.
The Marmonts had opened the door into Cauldron Lake's threshold. It was forced. It was unstable. Shutting the experiment down was the only option. Typical fucking Marmonts.
Ow. Okay, okay. You're fast, that's what we're learning. And this does not seem to stagger you as much as I would like. Alright, but the flashlight does. And that can be used to cancel your attacks. But every once in a while, we're gonna have to move away so we can regroup ourselves. That did nothing.
Why did you idiots think this was a good idea?
I should heal.
I should go.
This whole place is gonna come down. Oh, you're doing one of those. Okay, back away. I think that might have damaged us slightly. We're low on shotgun ammo despite all we found. There might be more to find around the place. This thing can be used as cover. You might teleport around if you're anything like Mulligan and Thornton. Wait, maybe now would be a good time to test the Blackrock gun.
The threshold's about to fracture.
It seemed to do something. I think this can only be held for a certain amount of time. Ow. And we should have saved it for you guys. Well, hopefully there's more around. You gotta keep moving, too. Come on, more Blackrock. Just what the doctor ordered. Ugh. There you go. Now let's finish what we started. Okay, let's see where this goes.
You know what the Marmonts did to you, to Rudolph Lane. I will do whatever I can to make sure this kind of thing doesn't happen again.
The putrid weight he could never wash away.
The threshold is tearing itself apart. I need to shut this down. The Marmonts are dead. I don't know if that's any sort of consolation, but it's done.
The pain, it was all over him.
Look, I'm sorry. I know you didn't make a choice here. It's not fair, but I have to shut this threshold down before it fractures.
Agent Estevez stood in the forest just outside of Bright Falls. She watched her team detain Alan Wake and Ilmo Koska, stuffing them into black SUVs. She realized this was the moment Wake had been writing in the vision she had seen. The story was coming true. She pushed the thought out of her head. It had been a good tip, a way to find Wake. Nothing more.
Alan Wake! After the threshold event collapsed, I was back at Cauldron Lake. But for a moment, I was somewhere else. I saw Alan Wake there. He was writing about me finding him in Bright Falls, in the woods. It was a good tip. I called the surviving members of my team, and I told them to meet me there. You know, these cases, they never get less ambiguous or easier. But this one, this was tough. Because protocol says entities like the Taken are monsters, threats. But the Marmonts were monsters way before the Shadow got to them. So at the end of the day, what's the difference?
Durability. So that was the lake house, and what a send-off for Alan Wake 2. Not only is it a great horror sequel, or I guess interquel, but it's also so nicely bridging the gap between Control and Alan Wake 2, proving that they're not just set in the same universe, but they're actually far more connected than even the events of Alan Wake 2 would have had you believe. It's taking all of the elements that worked about those stories and having them meet head-to-head in a way that makes sense with what's already been established and expands on those gaps in information that we had been asking about for years, or in some cases, a year. It's not only a nice conclusion to tie together everything that was going on in this masterpiece, but it also makes me excited for the future of this franchise. I know that it has financial issues. It's always had problems getting funding. But I really, really hope their future projects are successful because I want more of this. I think it's doing things that other studios are trying to do, that other properties are trying to do, but it's doing so with far more thought and care than others do. There's so much potential to tell an endless range of stories when your tone ranges from, I guess, the grounded and scientific to the more emotionally based and surreal and anything in between. It's got body horror and terror and survival horror gameplay and combat, but it's also got the more mind-bending elements as well, and none of it feels at odds with itself. And combine that with characters who feel so much like real people and with such nicely done motivations and conflict, it's just so well done. I want to keep my closing commentary brief because I've already talked for 3.5 hours, but suffice to say, I love this DLC, and I can't wait to see what Remedy gets up to in the future. And if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this game out for yourself, that link will be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one. It feels horrible to talk over the excellent music they put over the credits.